Hi, this is Wayne Zell, and welcome back to Blueprint for Wealth for your educational moment. Today, we're going to refocus again on boards of advisors. Our last guest, John Becker, was talking about being on boards of directors. We're going to talk about board of advisors as well as board of directors and some of the nuances and differences between them. We'll talk briefly about what a board of advisors is and isn't, and its differences and advantages from boards of directors, the standard arrangements that you typically see with boards of advisors and the compensation arrangements for them particularly, and then how do you start to build a board? So first, what is a board of advisors? It's a group of individuals that helps the owner of a business manage the business better. That's the simplest way I can articulate that, and it's usually maybe up to 5 or so business professionals who provide advice on how the business owner can utilize the business advisor to make their business more valuable. It's an informal relationship. It's therefore more flexible than, say, a board of directors. It's used mostly in startup businesses and businesses that are growing very rapidly on their way towards an exit or an IPO. And they may or may not meet regularly, but the board of advisors or the advisor often provides one-on-one assistance to the CEO of the company or the owner of the company. It's different from a consultant or a mentor. A consultant can be an advisor, but typically the consultant performs single projects of limited duration for cash compensation, and a mentor usually acts on an unpaid basis and acts very informally in that regard. So who should serve on a board? Well, the key members are experts in a specific business or in a specific discipline that help you as the owner fill your gaps in your business. It might include a lawyer who's a legal expert. It might include a financial or accounting expert, somebody who really knows human resources, marketing and business development, and sales is usually someone that is very helpful on a board of advisors. And then, of course, somebody who really understands your industry, say it's government contracting or technology or both, or retail or real estate. You want somebody with experience in the industry who can help you make decisions. What's the difference between a board of advisors and a board of directors? Well, as I mentioned, a board of advisors is informal. A board of directors is a formal relationship. Boards of advisors are usually formed by informal action. A CEO can handpick who serves. It doesn't have to require any kind of shareholder approval or even board of directors approval usually. And it's governed by contract with the individual members. There are no fiduciary duties that are owed by advisors who serve on a board of advisors, and they're not liable for their acts or omissions. And usually they're compensated by getting equity in the company that they're helping serve. The board of directors, on the other hand, is installed by a formal vote of the shareholders in accordance with the bylaws of the corporation or a special shareholder agreement. The board of directors, the members of the board, owe fiduciary duties of care, loyalty, and prudence to the corporation itself and to the corporation's shareholders. The management, the officers of the corporation, are required to report to the board of directors. So the board of directors oversees the officers and the operations of the company. A higher risk generally involves higher cost to the corporation in the form of directors and officers insurance and higher compensation. Generally, cash fees accompany equity grants to members of a board of directors. The typical agreement with a board of advisor member includes confidentiality and non-disclosure provisions that are designed to protect the trade secrets and intellectual property of the company. It outlines or articulates what the duties and responsibilities of the advisor are, and it may include a minimum number of hours per month or per quarter that the advisor is expected to provide to the company in exchange for the equity grant. They need to be available for calls with the executive team, and it'll also outline what the term of the agreement is. It might be just a 1-year term with automatic renewals for up to 3 years or 5 years. And then, of course, it outlines what the compensation is. Compensation, again, usually is equity-based if there's any compensation at all. And when I say equity, it could be in the form of stock, could be stock options or stock appreciation rights or phantom stock, synthetic equity. But in the normal course, advisors who serve on the board of advisors typically don't receive cash compensation for serving on a board of advisors. And the level of equity obviously will depend on the size of the corporation, its capital structure, and the individual's background and experience that they're lending to the corporation and the CEO of the company. Usually it's between 1/4 point and 1% to compensate the advisor for serving on the board. And it usually requires vesting over time. Might have 2-year vesting, so we want the individual to provide 2 years worth of service, and with a 6-month cliff, meaning that they have to serve for at least 6 months to vest in any portion of the equity grant. It also may require performance vesting. So somebody who's helping out on the sales side may vest in the options or equity that they're given only if they provide a certain number of leads or the leads turn into revenue for the company. When do you start a board of advisors? What's the best time? Well, you've got to hire key employees and you've got to hire managers. You've got to ramp up your sales and marketing efforts and production if you're in producing products or you're in manufacturing. You've got to develop strategic partnerships potentially, and you may need to raise capital. You may need research and scientific expertise depending on what you're doing. All of these benchmarks are times when you may need to have somebody help you accomplish the goal of hiring the best employees, getting the best bang for your buck, and ramping up sales and marketing and so on. So the time to bring on a board of advisors generally is fairly early in the process of operating the company. Where do you find advisors? How do I find the best people to fit the model? Well, first, start with the people that you know, and then use their networks to try to expand your network and bring in the right people. But the people that I usually advise clients to talk to are their attorneys, their CPAs, other investors, people who've invested early stage, venture capitalists who've made an inquiry into trying to provide financing to you, but you may not have taken their financing yet. They may be a good source of providing individuals who can serve on a board of advisors that might lead to a venture capital event, investment bankers who can help you with the exit of your company or take you public, and others who've successfully exited the industry. So people who've been there and done that are great sources of advice. Selecting the right advisor really is who can help you the most. And the first thing you want to do in evaluating what type of advisor you need is to evaluate the gaps in your business. Do you have gaps in any of these key areas? Finance, accounting, HR? Do you need capital access? Are you looking for somebody to provide you with technical expertise or legal expertise? Then screen the candidates. Don't just let them become advisors and give them equity. Interview them. Get references from others that have dealt with them in the past. And don't just go for somebody who's got a big name, because even though they have a big name, they may not have the time to devote to your company. So availability and avoiding conflicts of interest are key. That's some guidance on building a board of advisors and the distinction between that and a board of directors. If you need help in setting up a board of advisors, give us a call at 571-203-9355 or visit us on the web for more information on boards of advisors, corporate governance, and business planning at zelllaw.com. Thanks for listening to this educational moment, and join us next time for a special guest and special topic of interest to you on Blueprint for Wealth. Have a great week.